Infertility issues, a family member's violent end, and mourning a music icon. With her bubbly personality and infectious smile, Tamron Hall is one of daytime TV's most beloved hosts, but she's also faced many tragic setbacks throughout her life. In 2004, Tamron Hall's sister, Renata, was found floating in a pool in the backyard of her home, having been beaten to death. The killer has not been apprehended, but Renata had a history of dating violent men. For Hall, her sister's death wasn't something she really knew how to process, and neither did their family.
Because we did not talk about it.
No.
We've never discussed it because I didn't know, what to say.
After Renata's death, Hall questioned how she handled her sister's past relationships and whether she could have done more to protect her. While speaking to Forbes, the TV personality confessed that she wished she'd handled Renata's situation differently. In particular, Hall recalled one time she came home and found Renata's room in disarray. There was a man with her, and Renata had a nasty bump on her head, but the man claimed to have had nothing to do with it. Hall told the outlet, "I said to her partner, 'Get out of my house.' I kicked him out, but I also should have called the police. I should have encouraged my sister to file charges. At the time, I was a local anchor. I was thinking, we don't want the police at our house. This will all go away." Unfortunately, it didn't. The next day, Renata invited the man back. Hall simply couldn't comprehend why her sister would do such a thing. She told Forbes, "In that selfish moment of disappointment, I said, 'You both leave.'" You may not know this, but Hall was very good friends with legendary musician Prince. He even used a selfie of Hall as the cover image for If I Could Get Your Attention, which was released in 2015. The two stars first bonded over their love of both current affairs and their families, and their relationship eventually grew into a beautiful friendship.
The only other person I spoke with or speak with more than Prince is my mother. This is the person I communicate with more than anyone.
She added that when she'd spoken to him shortly before he passed away, he sounded just fine. Understandably, Hall never for a moment thought it would be their last conversation. She subsequently took to X to pay tribute to Prince after news of his death broke, writing, "Like a bird without a song, I've lost one of my best friends today. I know he would have advice right now. Prince, I'm listening as always." While discussing their friendship on MSNBC, Hall reminisced about how fortunate she was to know Prince, saying, "Prince was such a compassionate person. It wasn't just about his money and his royalties. He wanted to challenge what he saw was an unfair system for artists."
That he was much more than music, and I think people know that.
Hall dreamed of starting a family for years but couldn't get pregnant when she first tried in her 30s. She went on to receive fertility treatments, but none of them worked, so the talk show host hit pause for a while. It was only when she was in her 40s that Hall tried to get pregnant again, and this time around, the stakes were much higher. During an interview with People, Hall recalled how differently she experienced the fertility clinic in her 40s as opposed to when she previously first went there. She'd been more hopeful before, and now her chances of conceiving were even slimmer. When Hall finally got pregnant at the age of 48, she kept it a secret since she didn't have it in her to publicly deal with the disappointment if she lost the baby. She told People, "I was high risk, not just because of my age, but there were other medical factors too." Luckily, her story had a happy ending, and she gave birth to a healthy baby boy named Moses in 2019. While Hall initially did not want to know the baby's sex, she eventually caved a few weeks into her pregnancy and cried when the doctor told her it was a boy. She'd been hoping for a girl. She revealed on the Me Becoming Mom podcast, "I saw all of my fashion future float away. That sounds so vain, but it's true. And my husband said, 'I will one day tell Moses that you did that.' I'm like, 'No, it's just tears.' I visualize myself walking around with a little girl dressed exactly like me." Many are still scratching their heads trying to figure out why Hall unexpectedly decided to end her contract with the Today Show and NBC News in 2017. The popular talk show host hasn't been very open about the details, but she has admitted that leaving broke her heart.
It was tough.
Hall's departure may or may not have had something to do with Megyn Kelly getting penciled into her designated time slot on Today. As Hall clarified to Closer Weekly, "It wasn't that I did not know my value, it's that others did not know my value. It was an easy decision because there was no other decision to make." Hall also hinted that she wasn't being treated with the respect she thought she deserved and had ultimately decided that enough was enough. Speaking to People a few years later, Hall detailed the aftermath of her resignation, acknowledging that she never thought she let her job at the network go. She told the outlet, "I was in a fog. I thought, wow, is this how it goes down? not knowing that so many of us lose things we think are important, and you have no idea that something better is right there. You've just got to persevere. Looking back, though, leaving was the right thing to do. She said to people, "I'm from the South, and there's a saying, it's not a setback. It's a setup for something else." If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also find more information, resources, and support at their website.